welcome to Betty's Musings. My name is Elizabeth Omori, and today I'll be talking about the leading causes of poor communication. This is following our last video where we talked about communication as being a vital key to actually expressing love in a marriage. Now, one of the leading causes of poor communication is when you do not spend time to talk with your spouse. You find that there are some couples that the only time they're talking to themselves is when they're talking about something serious. So if they don't talk about trivial things, if they're not talking about how the mechanic is going to fix this or how the carpenter is going to do this or the children, they are not going to have any communication whatsoever. Another one is when there's passive aggression. You find out that if, let's say, a spouse has a bad day, has nothing to do with their spouse, they bring it back home and then begin to transfer their aggression to their spouse. And their spouse is wondering, okay, where is this coming from? As in, why is he angry? Why is she mad? Meanwhile, it's a passive aggression. That's one of the things that can cause, poor communication if it is not addressed by the couples. Another one is when you're having selfish conversation. There are some people that are all about themselves. If it's not me, they can't sit down to have a conversation. In fact, even amongst friends, people don't actually like to be with people that every time you're talking, you have to tell them about, that's your ride, that's your house, that everything has to be about you. How about the next person? Do you care enough to know what's happening in that person's life? The same goes for marriages. If your conversations are all about, is all one-sided, chances are the other person is going to be feeling sidelined or be feeling very neglected, and that can cause very poor communication. Another thing is when you're spending time to judge each other rather than trying to understand each other's point of view. Whenever things happen and you find out that instead of you trying to understand the person's point of view, you're busy saying, it is your fault. You are supposed to do this. You did not do it. Yes, I told you so. You're trying to judge. That's not healthy. Communication is about trying to understand each other, to have a higher argument, which is going to profit the marriage as a whole. So if our communication as a couple is going to be just one-sided in such a way that you're always judging me, I would not feel the need to talk about something again to you, and then you find out that if I'm the one that has a higher opinion about something, and because I feel like my partner is going to judge me, I will not say it. So you find out that the family at the end of the day is going to be suffering from that kind of unhealthy communication. Another one is when there's I know it all mentality. When people cannot be corrected, people cannot be guided. You can't tell me you hear people say, you can't tell me what I know. I've been an engineer for so many years. Meanwhile, there is something that your spouse can give, something that your spouse can contribute, but because you feel you know it all, you will not learn from that your spouse. And at the end of the day, your communication is breaking down. Don't forget that marriage is about both of you, it's about companionship, and both of you coming together to have a wonderful union that will benefit the both of you. So if the other person is unable to come out and say, oh, I think, I know that, yes, so this is your field, but what I'm seeing here, it seems like this thing might not be, and you're not willing to listen, or the other person not willing to listen, then you cannot have a healthy communication. So having an unknowing mentality is one of the cause for a poor communication. Another thing is when you're competing with your spouse. That usually amazes me because I often wonder why people will get married and see their spouse as an opponent. When you see your spouse as an opponent or a competition, you can never have a healthy communication with that person, because you know it's almost like you're in a debate, a constant debate. You're trying to prove that, look, I'm the one with you. You're not trying to have a conversation of, oh, this is the, let us have reason together to select, you know, to have make the right choice for our family. You're having a conversation maybe in the sense that you're saying, I know better than you, and I'm better than you. In fact, in simple terms, that can never be healthy. Because the truth of the matter is, you cannot have your spouse be your competition. It is supposed to be two of you against the world. Both of you are supposed to come together to become against the world. That is the essence of marriage in the first place. Another thing is when you talk down on your spouse. I mean, I once spoke with someone and she was like, oh, that I don't talk down on my husband in public, just privately. And I'm like, wow. Okay, so you know that talking down on your spouse is actually wrong. Whether it is privately or publicly, it should never exist, because you should remember, like when we talk about in the former video, that love is an action word. That action of talking down to your spouse cannot be love, because the way you will love to be treated is when someone listens to you, gives you audience, consideration, and does not belittle you. Okay, so in summary, we've talked about not spending time to talk to your spouse and just only talking about serious things, having passive aggression, having selfish conversations, that is, not spending time, you know, with yourself, and only spending time to judge rather than to understand your spouse's point of view. We talked about having an I know it mentality. We talk about competition between spouses and talking down on your spouse. These things are known to cause poor communication in marriages. If this is something that you need to review with your spouse, it would be good for you guys to sit down, talk about it, and try and have an examination to look, you know what, we need to work on so, or I need to work on certain areas of my life if I'm going to improve the communication in this marriage. I hope this helps you. Till I see you next time, have a good day. Bye. Please check out a copy of my ebook, Squeezing the Sweet Nectar of Your Marriage. It's loaded with, you know, case studies, things to examine your relationship with, short stories that are very relatable, that can help you understand topics better. And for those who are Bible believers, lots of Bible passages as well. It's for people who are seeking to improve their marriage, resolve conflict, you know, and use for premarital counseling. So above 150 pages, and I'm sure it would be worth your while. You can also follow me on my Instagram page at Betty's New Beginnings. Thank you so much for staying tuned to the very end of this video. Hopefully we'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share. You'll be helping someone, or you could also be improving your own relationship and marriage.